So SCR version 2.3 was released earlier this month. You didn't need me to tell you this, I hope. Version 2.3 is arguably SCR's biggest update in years, with the addition of various trains, new parts of the map, etc. Hence, these kinds of videos take the longest to make. Anyway, let's see what this has to offer. If you previously owned the Class 444 and/or 458, as soon as you join the game from version 2.3 for the first time, you get refunded. This is because the Class 444 and 458 are no longer included in the game. The Class 444 was such a good addition to Connect, and it was very short-lived. For reference, the Class 444 was added to Connect in December 2021 in version 1.8. But I find it extremely hypocritical as the Class 707 and 777 are in the game and both only run on third rail power in service in real life. But both of these trains, plus the 444 and 458, can be converted to overhead power due to an area on the roof for a pantograph to be fitted, like I said in multiple videos before. But anyway, on Connect you get the addition of the double class 350, the double 385 in /0 and /1, no addition of a /0 and /1 combo, and the return of the class 700, all requiring the longer trains game pass, as well as the double class 185 on Connect, requiring the game pass, but only has 6 coaches. That doesn't make any sense. I won't go into how these look because I already covered these in some of my previous reviews, and the Class 700 is just a lengthened Class 707, the main difference being the addition of onboard toilets on the 707. The new addition to the metro fleet is the Class 398 tram train, which is on Transport for Wales. It looks pretty good on the outside as well as the cabin. Pretty small though, and the interior is pretty nice. It runs on the tram exclusive routes towards Greenslade and Whitney Green, as well as the non-electrified line between Beachley and Stepford Bay, which we'll get to shortly. No new trains for Airlink or Waterline, but the Class 91 was added to Stepford Express, part of the Game Pass, of course. It comes in 7 and 9 coach variants. I quite like the Class 91 inside and out, and it even includes a DVT, making it realistic. This also marks the addition of the Mark IV coaches in SCR. As such, the game icon was updated to include the Class 91. There's also a new announcer on Express, replacing Justin Harris that does the Airlink announcements with Tanya Rich, the latter doing the announcements on the Avanti West Coast Hitachi trains. I'm not gonna play it in this video, but if you drive an express train, you will definitely hear some differences, including the addition of "Welcome aboard this Stepford Express service to station." And now for the new routes. There are now additions of semi-fast routes on Connect, direct routes to Leighton West and Rayleigh Bay, services from the airport area to Leighton and West Wyvern, and now Stepford Connect services from Morganstown have been extended to Hampton Hargate. The semi-fast routes from Stepford go via Ellesmere Junction, as well as the route terminating at Hampton Hargate. Note that the semi-fast routes and the routes from Stepford Airport Central to Leighton West and West Wyvern are only drivable on specific trains, those being the 185, the 350, the 380, the 385, the 68, the 700, and the 730. The Airlink shuttle has been made more versatile, with the shuttle being extended to Hampton Hargate and Morganstown from Airport Parkway. And then for Metro, you've got the Class 398 exclusive routes to Greenslade and Whitney Green, with the tram section starting at Berrily and finishing at Whitney Green. You can also go from St. Helens Bridge to Berrily via Barton and beyond, now making use of the tunnel section south of Barton that curves to the left. And now you've also got the new non-electrified section of Metro in the Stepford area to Stepford Bay, branching from Beachley and one-stop Cadoxton in between, which we'll get to shortly. We'll then move on to the new parts slash upgraded parts of the map. We'll first start off with the Stepford Bay branch. It is a single track non-electrified line that goes from Beachley to Stepford Bay with a short bypass area in Cadoxton. Here we have Cadoxton, which only has one platform and two entrances. The area looks alright, but the station is good for a single track line. And then we get to Stepford Bay, which is a pretty nice looking station outside and a platform level. The area has a riverside dock and a big SCR office, which I really like. The game now has a tram section going from Berrily to Whitney Green with tram stops Berrily, Denton Road, and Robinson Road, and between these tram stops is Greenslade. The Berrily station looks pretty nice, bigger and better than before, and it's based off Northampton. There are now two terminating platforms at Berrily instead of one from before, and the addition of Berrily ROC, which I can't go in, but if you are a signaler, you can definitely go in. Due to the added tram tracks, there are now tram lights which stay red consistently on the roadside. These are not functioning yet, though. Very close to East Berrily Station is a goods yard with Class 66s at it, a surprising addition to the area. Denton Road is just a normal tram stop, but the area around it is pretty nice, with the building to the right of the character you see. Greenslade got an upgrade too, and looking at it, it is now elevated instead of ground level like before. You've got the waterline terminating platform and the metro terminating platform included. Robinson Way got an upgrade and is now accessible by players, and is situated by a large grocery store with a small car park. Nice addition, and between Robinson Way and Whitney Green, the tram goes on a bit of road, which is cool too. And then we get to Whitney Green, which is elevated like the upgraded Greenslade. Much better than before, no doubt about it. The upgraded Morganstown, based off Staley Bridge, has caused some controversy since the sneak peek release, and I do prefer the previous Morganstown to this one due to the roof over the station. They made the area more steep by the station entrance, and they made the area more of an industrial town with a retail park included. You can even see one terminating platform at the side here, but another one on this side. There is now a lounge added, which is a good addition, but it's quite small. They made Hampton Hargate a bigger station now, and it's now based off Coventry. It looks much better than before, both the station and the town, which is more built up. The concourse definitely looks like the concourse in Coventry. A platform level is pretty good, and now you've got the addition of a car park and a sign that says, Welcome to Hampton Hargate. One building has a car park on the top of a building, but it's not accessible to players. Near the station, you've got Hampton Hargate ROC, located by a retail park. Benton Bridge got an upgrade and it looks really good based off Brent Cross West at both the entrances and at station level. For the first time in over 5 years, the connect tracks from Benton Bridge to Hampton Hargate go above the airlink tracks instead of under it. Benton Bridge Station from the concourse area has a view of Benton Bridge Bridge, which is not as steep as before, and from the Benton Depot area, the tracks to Port Benton and beyond go underneath the bridge instead of crossing over the Stepford main line, potentially reducing the risk of spadding. Morganstown docks receive some upgrades with the addition of overhead lines. The Morganstown flyover is still non-electrified but is not as curved as before, making it more realistic. And now you can walk from Morganstown docks to Whitney Green using this bridge and this walkway. Pretty handy. Port Benton didn't get an upgrade, but at least there are now overhead lines. Benton received some slight upgrades with the addition of a Metro exclusive depot, allowing quicker access to Barton and a barrier between platform 1 and the depot. Oh shit, I almost forgot to talk about the upgraded Beachley, but here it is, now based off Cardiff Queen Street, and it is a much better looking station, outside at platform level and in the underpass area. And the last station that received an upgrade in 2.3 is Starry Lock, with a new footbridge parking area, improved surrounding area, and the removal of the bridge to the coast and is replaced by a small pathway north of the station. Arguably, the main feature of SCR version 2.3 is the addition of the Pantograph feature and different modes on certain trains. Before on the move, one must enable the Pantograph battery or engine depending on what they're driving before they're on the move. You'll see end of or start of overhead line areas where if you have a train that can run on multiple modes, you can change them on the move. Note that if you're going from an overhead line to a non-electrified area, you must change mode before the overhead line area ends. Otherwise, the emergency brake will be applied. Same if you shut down your train while on the move. In the class 398 and 756 on battery mode, you will lose battery juice as it moves, but when the pantograph feature is activated, it will recharge the batteries. And if you're driving the class 756 and are on diesel power, that will also recharge the battery. This makes the game more realistic, and I'm glad it's finally a thing in SCR. And now for some new signs. With the introduction of the class 398, there are now tram stop car markers 3, 6, or all. Note that they are not included on the tram stops. With the introduction of the pantograph, there are signs at certain stations reminding drivers to change power to a certain state and end of or start of pantograph signs. The rhombus markers are dedicated to the class 700 or 707, the same ones included in the cabin, but if it says all, both the 700 and 707 drivers must stop at the car markers. Loads of other good additions in version 2.3, including platform prediction, where once a train spawns or starts a new route, trains are scheduled into specific platforms, station boards showing train platforms before arrival, the addition of platform alteration announcements, and platform boards showing multiple trains, which are very useful features, and I'm glad they're now in SCR. Also, the opening of the train ready to start box whilst dispatching, adding more realism to the game. And then now onto the depots. One surprise for me is that the names of the depots have changed. The list is here. If a depot is not included here, the depot's name remains unchanged. I'm just gonna call them by their original name because it's easier for me to remember. There is the addition of two Metro exclusive depots, the Bowden one that I mentioned before, and Marston Hill, north of Beachley. Stoke Milton, formerly Stepford Airport Parkway siding slash depot, received a lot of upgrades and it's pretty good, whilst Morganstown and Hampton Hargate sidings were removed. And here are some changes to the existing routes. I'm not going to talk about the head code changes or experience requirements because who cares? So much other things added in version 2.3, but I can't be asked talking about them, so I'm going to conclude with my overall thoughts on it. Overall, SCR version 2.3 was a great update, adding exciting extensions, station upgrades, the pantograph feature, and the addition of the Class 91, the return of the Class 700, and the addition of longer connect trains. But one thing I will miss from SCR is the Class 444, which is the train I wanted in SCR the most since I made my first ever SCR video. Before I end this video, I do apologize this video took longer to make than expected. I have been extremely busy with other things outside of YouTube, but at least the review is now up so you can now listen to what I have to say about the update. And a question to all of you. What was your most favorite part about the update, and what did you not like the most about the update? And that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe for future content if you can, and I will see you in the next video.